SVG's Jason Dackman here. We're at the SVG Summit, and I am with Chris Vassallo from NFL. Chris, thanks so much for joining us today. Really appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
So obviously, NFL, the behemoth when it comes to leagues in the U.S. and you know now globally. You guys just keep getting bigger when it comes to the international series. Obviously, Munich, Mexico, London. The question that I have from an operations and technology standpoint, how does that expansion impact you guys? And how do you adapt when you do have to, create a game day scenario in an entirely new venue?
Oh, sure. It's a long answer, but I'm going to try to give it short. It is a large operation. It is a giant circus. Especially when we go internationally, you learn how great all these other sports are in international soccer, but how they just don't do everything we do, and their buildings aren't built for our game. So there's so many additions and adds and infrastructure, and we have a large amount of equipment we have to have that does our game, between all the carts and technology in the bench area to our booths that have to be built, like replay booth, medical booth. So many other sports do that in bunkers, or they do that where, us at the NFL, we do everything. We need field-facing booths, and that just doesn't exist, and we need enclosures, and then we have to interconnect all those locations to each other and to the broadcaster, and so there's a lot that goes into it. There's no quick way to go play a game at a non-NFL venue. Obviously, we need tracking systems installed, and so it's quite a lift, and it's certainly changed as the requirement for all this technology is now in place. So
sure, yeah. You mentioned tracking. The NFL's tracking for officiating has come a really long way in a very short period of time with your Hawkeye system and the various technologies that you leverage. Can you kind of go into the evolution of that and where you guys are today with that Hawkeye system?
Yeah, I mean, it just evolved over time, and we spent a lot of time going from, we used to be just a single camera, a single truck feed replay system, and we had this whole operation based on that, and we relied heavily on the broadcasters to kind of give us the feeds we needed, the replays we needed, and they did a great job at that. But it just, as the rule book changes and things evolve, and the things officiating, and even player health and safety, they need to see the angles they need to see as quickly as they need to see it is become sort of this, evolved us to a multi-camera replay system. So obviously with us, depending on what the broadcaster is offering for those games, the packages vary from large to small, and we'll take in any field-facing camera they have. So as they evolve their production, it benefits us from a medical perspective, from a fishing perspective, from lots of perspectives. So,
sure.
Yeah.
Well, we're headed to the postseason right now. You guys are going to have, obviously, the Super Bowl is always more epic than epic can be, and then a big 2023. What are you most excited about coming up for the next year from a technology and an operations standpoint?
Oh man, there's so many things we have in the works. We obviously have so many different things that are important to our game. Obviously, keep improving our coaches' communication, calls to the field for coach to player. How we, what are the next big things? How can we help our fishing team on the field? How do we evolve just everything we do? What's the next generation of that? What's the next evolution of that? So it is always, we're constantly looking for innovation, and there's certainly things we're working on that I won't necessarily disclose, but and some of them we try and it doesn't work, and that's part of this evolution. Is how do you try the things that do not work? Where are the opportunities to get real? Once our season ends and we don't come back till preseason, where in that time frame can we explore this technology? Can we actually test it so we know we're confident about it, and get it to a place where we're comfortable in a real game scenario. We're comfortable with our coaches using it, and etc. So
exciting to find out what those teaser things might be. But Chris, thanks so much for taking the time. Really appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you very much.
For more from the SVG Summit, stay tuned to sportsvideo.org and the SVG YouTube channel.